Hello, Guitar Alleghany JAM students. Mr. Jones here, and I'm going to do just a little bit of a basic finger picking exercise. If you've never done any finger picking before, this will be good for you. Just talk about some of the basic things you do if you want to do finger picking. And some people use actual, metal and plastic picks they put on the fingers. I'm just doing this with my bare fingers, so we'll start out with that, and you can get into what they call finger picks later. But right now, one of the first ingredients of finger picking is your thumb, and this thumb is used for the bass. And let's think about our strings of the guitar for a second, the numbers of the strings, which one's which. The thinnest string is the one closest to the ground. The one at the bottom of the screen is my first string, and that's the thinnest string you have. It's an E note. I'm using my thumb on that right now, even though the thumb is more of a bass work a lot of times. So I'm just going to let's try that with my first finger, index finger. And that's going to be more of a melody kind of string. So we're going to have bass and melody. So the first string, and you can pick it with any finger right now. The second string is a B note. The third string, we're getting closer to my chin all the time. It's a G. D is the fourth string. And then the fifth string, I'll use my thumb on that, an A string. And then the sixth string is another E. So we have a high E, first string, thin string, and the thickest string, the lowest bass note we have is an E, a high E and a low E. So first thing, let's just start out on this little exercise sheet that's found in the AJAM tune and songbook. We're going to think of a D chord just for, and a D chord is just, I'm going to assume you kind of know how to do a D chord. But you can do stuff without a chord too. But right now I'm going to use a D chord. I've got my first finger, third string, second fret. It's which string, which finger, which fret. My third finger on the second string, third fret. And then my first string, I have my second finger. So I've got kind of straight across from each other, third and first string, and then that one in between. Makes a little inverted triangle there, kind of like an ice cream cone. So if we start off, just think about the D string, which is the fourth string, going from the thinnest, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just pick that thumb as a bass note over and over, like a drum. Just think of your thumb like a drum, and that's the bass note. A steady thumb or steady bass. So the thumb's going to be our bass, right? So that's you want to get used to just letting that thumb be on automatic pilot, the automatic thumb, you might say. And there are melodies. Say I'm doing the D chord here. Go and hold that chord down a minute. I would use maybe my first and second finger to do the second and first strings. So I'm just going to use my second finger to pick the first string. Let's just pick that every beat for a second. And then let's do it every other time. So I'm counting my bass, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to try something called a pinch. If you do the thumb and the melody together, that's called a pinch. You got the melody and the bass at the same time. And let's do that and let the melody go 2 beats. So thumb by itself in between. So it's a pinch and thumb by itself. The drums keeps going, right? So you got a first string pinch every other time. That's good. And let's try to mix it up. Let's try doing the melody every beat. So let's just do the melody 1, 2, 3, 4. And try to do the bass every other time. So a pinch, then a melody. Pinch, and the melody keeps going. So it's pretty good exercises. Right? So we had the thumb by itself. And then we had a pinch on the first string every other time. The thumb kept going. And then we had the melody kept going with the thumb every other time. Now let's keep mixing it up. Let's use our first finger and pick, I still have a D chord, I'm going to pick the second string with a pinch and keep the thumb going, the bass going, the drum goes. Great. So now I'm using my thumb and first finger on the fourth and second string. Pinch, thumb by itself, pinch. So a pinch is a very good way to get used to picking 2 strings at once. And now let's try doing the same kind of thing. Let's get the melody keeps going and the thumb goes every other time. So melody keeps going just with this different string, right? So the low strings, 4, 5, and 6 and even third can be a nice thumb or bass note. And the first three strings are often your melody notes. So let's try a slow melody, and I'm going to pick, still in my D chord, I'm going to keep the bass going every beat, and I'm going to pinch the first string, and the thumb keeps going, and then the second string. It sounds like this. Very relaxing finger picking. Great. And now let's try to change strings. Go 1, 2, 1, 2 with every thumb. So it'd be like this. So we're pinching every, well, let's see. Let me see. I tell you what, let's do. Let's try doing it without a pinch every time. Let's try first just doing the change strings with the thumb going every other time like this. You can mix and match. This just gives you ideas. You can make up your own exercises and just do a lot of repetition over and over. And that's how you get that automatic thumb, and you get where you can do it with different chords. So let's just do the 1, 2 like that. So we're doing a thumb every other time. Change the string. Great. Now let's just think about our thumb and do the thumb changing the string. Let's go from thumb from 4 to 3 with that D chord still. It sounds like that. It's kind of like a tick-tock. Sounds great. Alternating thumb. Wonderful. Now let's try doing the first string with a pinch, and that alternating thumb keeps going, and the second string with a pinch. It sounds like this, nice and slow. Pinch, thumb by itself, alternating in the second string. You start to sound like a lot of songs. Beautiful. Very relaxing. And it's just that you're getting a pattern going, which can be done over and over with a lot of different chords. Now let's try, we're doing all our pinches with the thumb. The next thing to try is going to be after the thumb. So let's just do, without even doing a whole pattern, let's just try to do, holding my D chord, let's do the fourth string and the first string, not together but apart. Just try that a few times, apart. So that's like, it's like a pinch that you've separated. You split it up, like one's later, one left early, or one's behind, however you want to think about it. So try a pinch together, and then split them apart. So together is a pinch, and then apart is a downbeat and an upbeat, like you're tapping down, up, down, up, down, up. Or together, down. It's all on the downbeat, and then when you split them apart, you got 1 and 2 and. And on the tab for the book here, I've got doing the first string apart and then the second string apart. So our thumb is doing that steady beat, but now we're putting notes in between. So the thumb by itself would be doing the alternate thumb, right? 4 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. See, sorry, it's like a 1 is faster, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And then I'm putting those after the thumb. Sounds very nice now. You really got a pattern going there. Then what happens, you can mix and match and do like a pinch and then apart. You get a lot of nice patterns. Pinch and then after, and a thumb by itself. And you've heard that pattern before in a lot of songs. Thousands of songs do stuff like that. And then what happens, you can do it in any chord, and mainly you just have to know where the main bass. Say I do it in a G chord, I could have that low string for the bass, the low bass, and then maybe use the third string for my alternate thumb. So I'd go like 6 and 3 with just my thumb, but I'm holding a G chord now. And then I could do pinch. So I could just maybe do a pinch, just to get used to that first. I'm using the first string for my pinch, and I might pinch and then maybe put it apart. Together, apart. Together, apart. And then you add some more notes in there. The third string, you put notes that sound like this. Right? Cool. Your thumb just has to become automatic pilot. It says, I got this. You go ahead and do your other stuff. So we have a pinch, then the after, apart, and you can even add that second string over and over like this. You'll hear people that like to put that second string in there after all the time on the second and fourth beat. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and great. If I did it with some other chords, say an A chord, which is, you'd go find your A string, 5th string, and do the same kind of thing. Pinch. I'm using the 5 and 3 for my thumb. That'd be beautiful. And then you could do that pinch and after. Great. That sounds great. Maybe I do a mysterious chord like E minor. And again, now I got my low 6th string, and I could use that 3rd string again. So you can just try just doing that one pinch to hear what it sounds like and get your alternate thumb going. 6 and 3, and then start putting some pinches there. You can do any of the other patterns we did before. Experiment, just doing the 1 and 2 together. And then you can start doing that pattern we had before, like splitting apart. Sounds great. A lot of songs use that kind of pattern. A minor, the 5th strings, you find your A, and then I'm using the 3rd string for my alternate bass, 5 and 3. So you find that thumb alternate pattern, the tick-tock drum, right? Pinch. You can just do pinch once or twice, or do it together and apart. And that sounds good, just that 1st string. Start adding that 2nd string in there. You really start sounding like a lot of songs. Beautiful. And then one last, let's go to a C chord. And you can mix and match the strings. You really get a lot of variety. Just kind of experiment. Now I'm going to use the C chord and use the 5th string and the 3rd string again. So that 3rd string really works good for a lot of chords for the higher alternate thumb note. And here you could even do a pinch on the 2nd string with the 5th, and keep that thumb going, right? And you could go from the 2nd string to the 1st string. Together, apart. A lot of possibilities. So I'll wind up just mainly you got your thumb for the bass and the drum was steady. You can go every beat or every other beat. And the melody, the same thing. It could be your higher strings, every beat or every other beat. You have a pinch when you put them together and split them apart, and it gives you that upbeat. And one last thing to try is just maybe think about, if you don't even want to do any chords, just do the, think of your first 3 strings, which is an E minor chord. It's a minor chord without even putting your fingers down, and you got that low bass. Think of 6 and 3. I'll wind up with this. 6 and 3, okay? And then just try to keeping that going, and then use your 1st string, not even worried about, I'm gonna give you a pattern. It's gonna be open, and 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 12. That's an E minor scale, what they call a pure minor. Open, and get used to whole and half steps. But just doing that, you're working on the thumb drum. Whoops, and then you hear a note, they go, whoa, that's not the right note. That sounds cool too. You're going to get into, you can make up any pattern you like, but to do the minor, you're going to go open 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, and 10, and 12. One last time. A half step is 1 fret, and a whole step's 2. And go the other way. I'm just using 1 finger on my left hand. And you got those. So just start trying to do those chords and find an alternate bass. Don't have to be fancy to sound really good. So if you never fingerpicked before, I hope this will get you having some ideas of how to go about it. And enjoy your guitar, whether you're flat picking or finger picking. They both sound great. All right, take care.